Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 2023 Southeast 38th Avenue here in Portland. We are located at the rear left corner of the home. That's as you look at the house from the street. We're going through a 4-inch ABS cleanout. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We're going to zero the foot counter out once we get down to the base of the cleanout access. There we are. Off we go. Alright, we're transitioning here over to 3034 PVC pipe. That appears to be a 4-inch to 4-inch transition there. The joint did settle a little bit. There's a little bit, I mean, you probably got all of a quarter of an inch or so of settling. A little bit of slippage, but the joint is completely sealed. No evidence of dirt, groundwater, anything coming through there. That is not a situation where I would recommend repairing that. There is no lip. Technically speaking, it's an offset, but it's offset in the direction you want it to be. You've lost almost no diameter there. Everything's sealed up. Now we're transitioning here into 6-inch 3034 PVC. We should be seeing the main lateral here pretty darn quick. Yep, there it is right there. Into an old clay line. And we're going to go locate that while the line drains out here, and we'll take a better look at everything as we come back, but everything is shooting through this line like a rocket. Very clean line, good flow. Alright, located the camera head successfully. Line terminates out on Southeast 38th Avenue, pretty much directly in line with this cleanout. If you draw an imaginary line from the cleanout out to the middle of the road, that is essentially the exact path the line takes. But you'll see a little bit of a rectangle-shaped patch out in the street. That patch there is where the line, where this update was done. So the line here is just about done draining off. There's just a tiny little bit of water trickling through the pipe right now. Whoever's been living here has done a really nice job at keeping cooking oil and grease out of the line. The pipe looks fantastic. Super, super clean. Transition joint there looks good. We'll come back and take one more look at that joint there that's shifted a little bit, but on the advance out, nothing about it looked compromised. Yeah, as it sits right now, we don't have any dirt streaks, anything that indicates that joint is exposed to the ground right now. You know, is it a possibility it could happen at some point in the future? Yes, it's possible. But as far as this has sat here, in my experience after doing this with 13 years of scoping lines, most your settling happens almost immediately after a line is buried. This joint has looked this way likely since the very first day it was buried. And unless your joints are exposed to the ground, typically you're not going to see much in the way of progression. You need something to allow for that. You know, if we had earthworms crawling around, obvious dirt streaking, you know, where you can tell that dirt and groundwater come through that joint and drain down the sidewalls. It's usually pretty darn obvious. Or you have little, it's a very minor, it's a minor offset slash slippage. The pipe slipped a little bit. Everything here appears intact right now, and functionality and flow is not being affected. That joint there shifted, you know, maybe it's somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 of an inch, depending on the part of the joint you're talking about. You have a little bit more movement at the top of the pipe than you did down at the bottom. I did these days, not that I think that's just going to go ahead and start moving on you like crazy. In fact, what I will do really quick here, just to locate it, I'll tell you where it's at. But as this thing sits right now, you know, if something were to all of a sudden happen and it started to expose itself to the ground, first and foremost, I'd be looking into a trenchless epoxy liner for a repair like this. I wouldn't even mess around and digging it up. But I'll at least locate just to see where it's at. Well, I've got even better news. I just took a locate on that thing. You can see I parked my camera right about here. I'm actually picking this up. I'm going to put my camera just a little bit further forward. This joint actually looks like it is past the street edge in city responsibility anyway. Alright, this is a sign of a good installer. I'm picking that joint up a good 2 feet past the street edge. That's an installer that understands the fun that the city of Portland can play sometimes. Transition joints are by far the most likely joint to have issues in general, whether it's settling issues, root intrusions, and we may have some water coming down line here. It sounds like the dishwasher might be discharging. Root intrusions especially are very common at transition joints. They're just a joint that doesn't seal up quite as nicely as a same material transition. So if anything does occur there with that joint, if it were to settle further or get a root through it or something of that nature, that falls into city territory. Once you hit the street curb, face the curb in Portland, falls into city responsibility. I'm going to move kind of slow here for a second just so I can get a little nicer view here. Water's still draining through the pipe right now. Very nicely installed line. So anyway, being that it falls into city territory there, I'm even less concerned about doing periodic rescopes on this line. You know, if that were to be on property, I might rescope every 2-3 years just to monitor things. Alrighty, we are all finished up here. We have great flow all the way out to the main lateral connection. All the ABS pipe that's on property, all that 3034, not that there's anything wrong with it as it sits right now anyway, but all of it's in good shape, but all that, you know, that one joint that's even a little wonky is in city territory. So all good things here. Very clean line, great flow. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time. That's all you can ask for. And thank goodness it is. This is one of those lines that is incredibly expensive to fix. Every single inch of it is under concrete. Not a single part of it just resides under straight up dirt. So nice to see it was nicely installed. Yeah, the sewer line is functioning properly at this time.